King Obiekwe maltreated his first wife because she gave birth to only female children. Long ago, in the kingdom of Umuokpu, there lived a mighty ruler, King Obiekwe, whose name once inspired both fear and reverence. He was a man of strength, broad like the Iroku, his voice thunderous like the coming rain, but his heart was as cold as stone. He ruled his people with an iron hand and ruled his home with cruelty. For the gods had given him everything, wealth, warriors, but not the one thing he desired most, a male heir. His first wife, Lolo Nkemdilim, had been by his side since youth. She had followed him when he was still a young prince, with nothing but dreams and courage. She had cooked his meals, washed his feet after battle, stood beside him in his hunger, and prayed for his victory. But as the years passed, all she bore him were daughters, beautiful daughters. And so the king's heart turned away from her. Nkemdilim, he would roar, his voice shaking the walls. What use is your womb to me if it cannot bring forth a lion? You give me hens and not eagles. She would kneel weeping, my lord, I have prayed. I have gone to Dibia Okafo for helps. I have sacrificed goats to the gods. Then your gods are deaf, he spat. Maybe your womb is cursed. He would strike her, sometimes with words, sometimes with hands. The maid would hide their faces, and even the guards pitied her. When the elders begged him to be patient, the king's pride grew instead. I am Obiekwe, he shouted, the lion of Umuokpu. Shall my lineage end because one woman's womb is dry? Please get me another wife. And so they brought him Lolo Adaku, a woman as beautiful as the setting sun. From the first day she entered the palace, she knew what pleased the king. She knelt before him with perfect grace, her eyes full of admiration. My lord, may your enemies fall before you, she said. May your seed multiply like sand. Obiekwe smiled for the first time in months. He built her a new chamber, adorned with gold and coral beads. The people of Umuokpu began to whisper. And so while Nkemdilim lived in silence and tears, Adaku lived in luxury and laughter. One night, Adaku ran into the courtyard crying out with joy. My lord, the gods have blessed me. I am with child. The palace erupted in celebration. Drums rolled, palm wine flowed. The king danced until dawn, shouting, finally, the gods have remembered me once again. He gave her gold and slaughtered cows. He sent gifts to the temple. And Nkemdilim, standing in the shadows, wept silently. She could hear the song of praise from Adaku's quarters, the same songs that once filled her ears. Even her daughters were pushed aside like forgotten weeds. Chineke, she whispered into the night. What have I done to deserve this? But the gods were quiet, for the time of revelation had not yet come. Months passed, and the palace swelled with expectation. And finally, Adaku gave birth. A baby boy echoed through the royal courts. The king fell to his knees, tears of joy running down his face. A lion is born, he shouted. The heir of Obiekwe lives. From that day, he treated Adaku like a goddess. She wore the finest wrappers, ate from golden plates, and the king himself found her when she grew hot. He never visited Nkemdilim again, not even once. When she sent food to him, he pushed it aside. When she greeted him, he turned his face away. Nkemdilim, he said one morning, his eyes cold, I kept you out of pity, but pity is not love. Move to the local quarters where I cannot see your face. Her heart shattered like clay. She packed her few clothes, gathered her daughters, and left to the local quarters. The guards whispered as she passed, but she never looked back. The sky wept that day. The years passed, and the boy grew strong and proud, and the king's heart was full until sickness came. It started as a cough, then a fever. Soon, his skin burned like hot coal. The palace healers tried their herbs, but the sickness grew worse. My lord, Adaku said softly, drink this. It is medicine from the priests of Nri. He drank, trusting her, for love had blinded him. But the medicine was poison, slow and silent. Each day he grew weaker, his voice fading. And one night, as he lay dying, Adaku came to sit beside him. She thought he had slept. Finally, she whispered, stroking his hand. The gods have finished their work. Sleep, my king. Soon my son will rule, and Nnanna will stand beside me. Obiekwe's heart froze. He tried to speak, to shout, to call the guards, but his tongue felt like stone. Tears welled in his eyes. The truth had come, but too late. In his mind, he cried out to the gods, Chineke, Biko, give me one more chance. Let me return. Let me be well. And as the night wind howled through the palace, King Obiekwe breathed his last breath. his eyes opened wide, not in fear, but in pleading. The firelight flickered across his still face, somewhere far beyond the mortal world. The gods whispered, "The heart that rules without mercy must walk again in humility. Mmiri nwere ike ịkọcha ahụ, ma ọ gaghị akọcha mmehie." Dear viewers, part 2 continues on my page. For knowledge's sake, the father determines the sex of a baby at the moment of conception. This is because eggs from the mother always contains an X chromosome, while sperm from the father can contain either an X or a Y chromosome. So, the gender of every child is determined by the father. Thank you.